Welcome to WKRP Montrose, a radio station masquerading as a podcast about Montrose, Colorado, and the Western Slope.
Tell us about...
No. He already messed it up. WKRP Montrose, we're here with you. We got our guest, Chad Jukes. We're going to jump to him for just a second.
No, we'll get to him in a minute.
Yeah.
I want to show,
you were going to start
show
that.
your hand to the camera.
This hand.
The one with the bandage on.
This hand.
Yeah. Would you care to explain to the people what that means and how that happened?
This hand?
And why you're a giant potato?
This is like, this is my protest hand. No? Is that not what it is?
Yeah,
What are you getting at?
You protested. You protested at, I am not going to take that avocado pit out the way everybody else does. I'm going to do it my way, and I am going to use the pointy end. And the rest is fairly obvious. Do you know the worst part? Tell them the worst part. Is that it was the second avocado. The first one you did the normal way. For some reason, you decided to turn it pointy end towards hand for the second avocado and stabbed yourself.
All right. So you know how when you're trying to take the pit out of an avocado?
They know. Everyone knows.
And everybody has like a different method for
No,
doing
they
it.
don't.
No, there are other
They
methods.
don't.
Not the one that I used, but there are other methods.
It would be safer to just grab it with your hands and pull that pit
You
right
could
out
use
of
your
there.
teeth.
Yeah. Well, see, Chad should be able to weigh in on this because Chad is actually in the profession and has probably done this more times than anybody else. What? Why are you looking at me like that?
This is not a debate.
Yeah.
And if you're at home thinking, no, I've done it with the point of a knife, you're an idiot as well. So
here's the deal. I significantly stabbed myself in the hand. This is why are we talking about this story? This Saturday morning, I got up. I am fairly good at making avocado toast. It's not about the avocado. It's about how you make the toast. And so, for those of you out there,
genius here.
I'm going to share some. No. This is good. You're going to like this because it's very Americanized, and you're going to be like, "This is ridiculous." So I take the toast, usually a sourdough, and it's we bake the kind of take and bake or whatever. Then we cut it up. And then I put it into the pan and I put mayonnaise on both sides and I toast the toast in mayonnaise and butter. It makes the most delicious toast that you've ever had in your entire life. And then you put the avocado and then you put the salt and pepper and then you put the olive oil on top of that. And then you put the poached egg on top of that. In the process of doing the avocado, I did the regular way that you like hit with the blade end of the knife into the avocado nut and turn it and pull it out. The second one, I don't know what I was doing, but I had a different knife. I had like a steak knife. And so I went to stick the sharp end, the pointy end, into the avocado seed. Went right past it, right through the avocado and into my hand.
I need a drink. I need a drink after that.
Yeah.
Not to laugh at your pain
Yeah.
and misery and extreme suffering.
Yes.
But it is a little funny.
Here's the thing. It really wasn't that bad. I mean, but it was bad enough that there was a comment like, "Is that my muscle?" And so, and it freaked Nicole out a little bit, which is probably the worst part. So, as a veteran, not only in the truest sense of the word, you've served our country.
Yeah.
But now you're serving our country as well.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Hey.
Little word play.
Yeah.
But before we do that, I do want to point out that the wheelie big couch.
Yeah, you're pointing to something that the audience can't see because we're on the screen. There you go.
Which way? That way.
That way. There you go.
There.
There you go.
That guy.
That guy right there.
Does he not look like either a hobbit or somebody somebody related? Yeah, Gandalf's grandson.
Yeah. Is there any relationship to Gandalf? Gandalf the Great?
A while ago, Mel, my partner,
Chad the average,
was watching one of the Hobbit movies, and she said, "I just realized I'm in love with the IRL Gandalf." You are only going to look more wizardly as you age. He drinks. He smokes.
Yeah.
He talks to the animals. Always has a killer hat. Awesome beard. Likes to take people places and abandon them. But just for a bit.
Well, we have a story coming up later that you didn't abandon somebody. You kind of,
But you abandoned a part of somebody.
No. You self-abandoned. We're gonna get to that in a minute. But
Okay. Should we introduce you? Hi, Chad. Nice to meet you. Chad
is it
Jukes.
Chad or is it Chadwick?
No wick in there. No.
But it could be. It should be
No, probably not.
Chadwick.
I've seen Chadwick more often as a surname.
Chadwick.
It's-
Chaddison.
Chadwick is. I've seen it as a first name, but it's
Chadwick.
very uncommon. Normally,
Look at
it's
the big
just
brain on Chad.
I'll tell you what, though, from a non-American perspective, Chad is probably the most American name.
No, it's not even close.
No, it is. I'm telling you,
It's not.
from a European perspective. And here's the thing: when we think of Chad,
Yeah.
they do not look like that. Chad's got a baseball cap on. He's in a frat.
A polo.
Yeah, he doesn't look like Gandalf's great grandson.
And Chad's always got the baseball cap on the wrong direction, like backwards.
Yeah, because Chad's a massive douche. Not you.
Oh, no.
Well,
No, just those Chads.
Hey, Chad, if there are any Chads out there in Montrose,
Hanging Chads.
beside this Chad,
There
feel free to call 970-316-3162
There are. I know another Chad.
and tell Rob how wrong he is. So, Chad, what is your current relationship to Montrose, Colorado?
oh my goodness, where to start? So, Montrose, Colorado. I primarily work in the kitchen at Pomona Brewing Company.
What?
which-
Wait, where is that? Where do you work?
Where? Huh?
Pomona Brewing Company. You mean like
Right.
our beer sponsor who lubricate these episodes and often lead me to getting myself into trouble occasionally by shooting my mouth off.
Exactly.
Way to interrupt the guest, Rob.
Yeah, that's all
As
right.
you were going, Chad.
One of your first guests was my bosses, Kevin and Chelsea.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Which, when they reached out to me, so Kevin called me up. We had lunch a number of months before Pomona Brewing opened, and he told me the vision and asked if I would be interested in coming in and helping out. And I told him that if pretty much anybody were to come to me and tell me that they were opening a restaurant, opening a brewery, and they wanted help in getting the kitchen running, wanted help in the kitchen, I would tell them to F right off. But Kevin,
That
and
might have been a
Chelsea-
tad overreactive there, Chad. Just
Oh no.
anyone get the
Kevin
out
and
of here.
Chelsea. Yeah.
But so what about?
I would have been sad if they hadn't asked me.
So what-
Because
What is it about them, Chad?
I worked with Kevin for a while, and his work ethic really impressed me. His willingness to go above and beyond and do things that were not necessarily his job to work with and help coworkers was very, very impressive. And I have seen the same thing out of Chelsea as well. And
Well, you guys have a pretty tight crew over there at Pomona, anyway.
it's remarkable. Yeah. Yes. Our crew at Pomona, we have very little turnover.
The greatest servers in Western Colorado, probably. My personal favorite.
What about the kitchen?
Well, their kitchen's great too. They turn out those 10 million bok fries or wherever it was.
That was how many was it? How many bok fries did you guys serve?
That was goodness. I think that was in June. So
did how
we
many?
had been open
10,000,
for
wasn't it?
what,
A year and
14, 15 months. And yeah, we sold our 10,000th order of bok fries.
10,000 deaths. Good. Yeah.
That's the proper way to say it.
Yeah.
Rob.
10,000 deaths.
It's the
Yes,
correct way to say it. That's a lot of bok fries.
That's a lot
I'm just
of fries.
saying.
No, they do a good job, all of them.
All right, so you're
Especially Morgan.
you're currently running.
Morgan's phenomenal.
Morgan's wonderful.
That
They're all great. Haley, Ellie, all of them. But I don't know. Something special about that Morgan.
Morgan is a rock, which again, just like Kevin and Chelsea. Morgan, when we're busy, Morgan will be in the kitchen, be in the dish pit.
And the new people. Let's not forget
Oh,
Jason,
yes.
Hallie, all the others.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Good crew.
I have no idea.
We have a remarkable crew.
We love Pomona.
I have no idea what's going on here.
Don't worry about it. I'll tell you later. Okay.
All right. So, but here's the thing. That's not your only relationship to Montrose. You are out and about all over. And when I mean all over, you're in the places that a lot of people don't get to see in Montrose. Mm-hmm. How is that like? Explain how that's part of your life as well.
In and around, yes. So what first brought me to the Western Slope was, in 2008, a year after my amputation,
You just ruined the surprise.
Oh, yeah.
For some people.
Keep going. Keep going.
I'm sorry, Rob.
Yeah.
To rain on your parade. Anyways, a nonprofit, a very young and new nonprofit organization called Paradox Sports invited me to this little town called Ouray, Colorado, to climb ice for the first time.
So where were you at this point?
At that point, to be exact, I was at the Army Hospital in San Antonio, Texas.
Okay.
BAMC. Finishing up the process of physical therapy, rehab, and getting out of the Army, which is the most difficult part, the medical evaluation board process. You have to see every sort of doctor imaginable and go through this whole panel to decide whether or not you're disabled. And I'm like, pretty sure.
I feel like this is worse than bone spurs.
Yeah, right.
We're going to get some hate for that.
Hey, listen, it is what it is.
Did the program reach out to you or vice versa?
Yeah, actually, phenomenally. When so a year before that, in 2007, 3 months after my injury, I was faced with the decision whether or not I was going to amputate my leg. And before my deployment to Iraq, I had been a budding young sport climber, and it was really important to me that I get back to climbing after I got home. So when my surgeon came and told me that, this MRSA resistant staph infection I had in my heel bone was bad enough that amputation was an option, I got online and started doing some research and came across a forum that was started by a gentleman named Pete Davis, who at the time lived in Boulder, Colorado, now lives in Ridgeway.
Can I just go back and say, how do you deal with that news? When they come to you and say, hey, there's a chance we might have to, or you might have to make that decision to amputate your leg.
So, honestly, there were a few choices between different surgical interventions and amputation. And when the doctor said amputation, I was like,
what?
Why the fuck would I get my leg chopped off? Like, that's crazy. And so I started doing some research and very quickly found this forum online because I'm like, can amputees climb? And at that time, there were not many at all.
Did you not spend a lot of time questioning the doctors? It seems like you went straight to, can I still climb if I have my leg out? Did you not think, no, there must be another option? Did you not panic in some respects?
No, I started doing research. And I found this forum of amputees that climb that Pete Davis started. And I quickly made an account and posted with my situation. And I got a number of emails, including from Pete Davis, and particularly one from Malcolm Daly, who was in Boulder, Colorado at the time, founder of Trango Climbing Company. And he lost his leg after a very significant climbing accident in Alaska on Mount Thunder, where he fell 200 feet, and he was stuck on the side of the mountain for 48 hours before a helicopter could rescue him through a blizzard. And he amputated 2 years after that injury. And he told me that he had made the decision that he would rather be an amputee than a cripple, and that I would definitely be able to climb as an amputee. And
so,
hold on a second. So you're making part of this decision through a conversation on a forum with somebody you haven't even met?
yeah,
But you trusted him enough that it was like, hey, look,
Oh, yeah.
you've gone through this. I mean, that's
exactly. Those
to
are
make
the
a
kinds of
decision
people
like
you
that
want
in life.
to talk to.
Yeah, but first and foremost, to have a resource to be able to go and talk to other people, and second of all, then to be able to trust, like, hey, this is somebody that's gone through this, and I'm going to make this decision based on that conversation. Is that really how that went?
So that all started happening on Wednesday. My first surgery to deal with the infection was on a Tuesday. Wednesday, the surgeon came and told me the prognosis. Told me that I could have my heel bone rebuilt with chunks of cadaver bone because there was no longer enough bone to have a functioning heel or amputation, and started doing the research. Thursday, the next day, I had another surgery where they went back in, made sure the infection there were no further signs of infection, packed it full of antibiotic beads, sewed it up, and Friday morning they sent me home. And Friday morning, when the surgeon came in to do discharge, I spoke with him and I said, okay, so you gave me these choices. I'm starting to think that amputation might be the best option, but I want to know your opinion, because to his credit, when he came to me on Wednesday and told me the choices, the options that I had, he did not give any indication of preference. And he looked at me and he said, yeah,
I think you should go this
probably
direction.
is the right way to go, but take some time to think about it. And I went home and I had a PICC line dropping strong antibiotics right into my heart. It was a line that came in right here and went through to my heart. So the antibiotics would just drop and spread through my body. And I had to do that every 8 hours. And it was very, very obnoxious. I was in so much pain and spent some more time thinking about it and talking with people and doing more research. And goodness, Sunday was miserable because I could not wait until Monday morning when the doctor's office opened and I could call in and say, when can we get rid of this thing? Chop it off.
So it progressed really quickly from, this seems like this might be an option, to let's freaking do it.
It's the best option.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
were you concerned? I mean, we've talked about this before, I think, but your conversation with the other guy, what's his name again?
Malcolm Daly?
Yeah, I think you told me before that, his decision to delay that decision was he did make the right choice, right? But was he in pain for those 2 years?
Oh, he was. He was going through other, surgeries, revisions.
Right.
And I've had many friends
Right.
who have gone sometimes 10 years after injury before they choose to amputate.
Right.
And some of them were happy about that decision because, they had to have a surgery every couple of years, but
Right.
they were still
But were they
fairly active and,
Right.
skiing and climbing, but then eventually got to a point where they had to chop it off. I've had other friends who have just been like, why did I not do this 10 years ago?
Okay, do you know of anybody, though, who decided not to go down the amputation road and have not regretted it? Or is it much more common the other way?
Not many, but also I don't tend to meet as many of those people because it's the cohort. I tend to spend more time with, in the disabled world, I tend to spend more time with amputees.
Right. Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
So this opportunity came up while you're going through your exit phase from the Army and from the VA hospital to have an opportunity to come out to Ouray, Colorado to go climbing.
Yes.
And so how did that, were you shocked? Was this like a surprise, or was it like something that you'd been pursuing and all of a sudden now it was an opportunity?
Honestly, ice climbing to me was horrifying.
There's no part of ice climbing to me that seems exciting.
It seemed really scary.
Yeah.
But
it's fun to watch you guys do it, but
Malcolm invited me. I was like, I'll go give it a shot. And showed up in Ouray, went out to climb ice the first day of, back then, Paradox Sports is now a fairly large nonprofit applying for federal grants. So the event is called Paradox Ice. Back then it was Gimps on Ice.
I don't think you can say that anymore.
He can say it.
He can say it.
Yeah.
You can't say it.
You don't necessarily want to be putting that in a, grant proposal for.
Didn't they also used to have Ouray like kind of at a women's ice climbing club?
Oh, well, Chicks with Picks is a
but that's
guide company.
Yeah, that's much more acceptable.
Oh, that is?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Chicks.
Definitely.
Okay.
Chicks with Picks. It's now Chicks Climbing and Skiing. They've ventured
Expanded out
beyond just ice climbing, but they're alive and well. They're really amazing people.
Okay.
So the organization grew.
But
it's still, is it nationwide now?
Paradox Sports, we always did events around the nation. And the headquarters for Paradox is in Boulder.
Right.
But yeah, the first day I climbed ice with Paradox Sports, I went straight down to Ouray Mountain Sports with Annie Whitehouse, phenomenal climber. And I went in to try on boots and crampons. And actually, as I was trying on boots and crampons, Ouray Liquors used to be next door. And Annie came in with a 6-pack and handed me a beer while I was trying on boots. And yeah, I bought boots and crampons my first day ice climbing because I knew it was something I was going to do for the rest of my life. And lo and behold, after spending a lot of time in Ouray, after getting out of the Army and moving back to Utah with my family and then living in Salt Lake City for a while, I was, 2009, 2010, that winter, I spent half of my time in Ouray training for an expedition to Alaska. And the next winter, decided to move to Ouray for 5 months just to be able to climb consistently, and then was going to go back to Salt Lake City and start looking for a house. And I'm still here.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of the way it goes.
Yeah, what a unique story about coming here to this
15
awesome
years
place
ago.
and sticking around. But
So your first ice climbing experience was climbing in ice chutes that are like world class, right? Like
yes.
The climbing that they have going on there in Ouray, people come from all over the world to come and try it.
Oh yeah.
So it's not like oh, hey, we, created this ice climbing opportunity that's novice. You went from never doing it to doing it as a disabled veteran to doing a very complicated route, I guess is what I would say.
It sounds somewhat dangerous.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting
Have
at.
you, and this is definitely a loaded question because I know the answer. Have you ever had any incidents out there in Ouray on the ice, Chad?
So myself, I have had one injury climbing. I will say, as far as danger goes, I have taught hundreds of people how to climb ice, And the most significant injury I have seen from one of my students was when they swing their ice axe and a little piece of ice flies down and they get a little bloody lip or something, a little nick.
So that's the most significant injury for a student.
Yes. For an instructor, however.
Have you, for example, had a more extreme injury?
Yeah. Was it 7 years ago, I believe? I was teaching a clinic at the Uri Ice Festival, and very embarrassingly, I was on top rope, but my belay wasn't as tight as it should have been, and it was a brand new rope on a long climb, and ropes are made to stretch, and my tool popped out of the ice. I was 7 feet off the ground and
Took a plunge
all the way to the ground.
Oh.
And it was ice at the base, so with crampons, big spikes coming out of my feet. Foot didn't slide out from under me or anything. Force went straight up and had a extremely significant and catastrophic tibial plateau fracture on my good leg.
Oh no!
I mean, you can't fracture the other one though.
Yeah,
What's it made? It's made of isn't it titanium? You know what'd be really embarrassing? Thankfully, this didn't happen. Right? There's no video footage or anything of that incident. Right?
I have it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird that I should say that and then you have it. Bizarre.
I've shown you.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
I don't think we
forgot.
don't need disclaimers on the video that if you're sensitive to these things, don't watch.
No, but that's the thing about the outdoors, right? Ice climbing is like anything else. These things happen.
Mm-hmm.
We've all had injuries falling off bikes, and I don't know, probably a Segway in your case, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a Segway. No, it wasn't a Segway.
You've fallen off something.
I've fallen off of several things. Most of them. Some things at high speed, some things a lot slower. But yeah, those are my injuries.
Speaking of Segways,
wasn't it Bush that fell off a Segway?
Was it Bush? Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. Yeah, and he had a helmet on too, at least.
Thank goodness.
Dennis is not a helmet wearer. Look at him.
No, I don't.
You can't find a helmet to fit that melon for a start. Yes,
Custom order.
segues. You want to segue into something else? Can I, Chad, do you want some more?
Of course.
Okay, so ice climbing.
I didn't say what that was.
Oh yeah, what kind of beer are you guys drinking?
So this is the Grumpy Ogre Fresh Hop Pale Ale, and we've got a real proper beer tender here. Look at that head.
Exactly. Jeff Downs.
This has been
Jeff Downs, I know you're going to watch this. We had this debate where Jeff was annoyed that Rob couldn't pour a beer properly. And we had
Actually,
to post
Rob,
a video. No, wait. We had to post a video explaining why that is, in fact, the way you pour a beer.
I still know. Jeff
I'm going to show it to you, and I'll show it to you later.
Jeff and I don't agree on a lot, but I got to agree. There's no place where I think this has to come with your supposed Welsh background that you guys over there like your beer flat.
He's English.
Yeah. So yeah, you're going to point at him. Yeah. So I think that has more to do with the fact that you think that's the
Go
proper
and watch
way
the
to.
video.
No,
the
there's
response
no
to
video.
Jeff.
What video? Nobody's seen it.
There's
Nobody
a
knows what you're
response to
talking
Jeff,
about.
and Jeff was like, "Oh, okay, maybe
Okay.
I'm wrong."
No,
right,
definitely
Jeff?
not wrong. So the segue that he was talking about is ice climbing is not the only thing that you do. I mean, you're a fairly adventurous individual, and recently that was my phone.
Phone again.
Yeah. Okay. Well, some of the technology I haven't figured out, Rob. I don't know what to tell you. You were traveling down the Black Canyon Gorge. Is that correct?
Can we talk about this story, Chad? The more recent.
Yes, of course.
Because not only that, I mean, it's a genuine story about the perils of being in places that are. Nature wants to kill you sometimes. And if you're in places like the Gunnison Gorge, it can be a dangerous place.
So
my favorite people, my favorite places are like my favorite women.
Yeah.
They are often hostile and want to kill me.
yeah.
Mel,
You didn't mean the plural sense of that.
No,
You meant the
he's
singular.
talking directly about Mel.
That's what I meant.
We're going to send a little preview of
Singular.
this before this comes out, but yeah, this was a recent expedition right down the Gunnison.
Yeah, so I went out with a good buddy of mine, old climbing friend, we were going to kayak the Gunnison Gorge, and he proposed the option of hiking the Warner Trail down into the Black Canyon. So we could get like an extra seven river miles. And he told me that the hike was, a little longer, a little steeper than Chucker Trail, but really like not that bad.
But they're all steep. They're all steep, right?
And
It's
by
pretty
steep,
rough.
By steep, we're talking significantly steep.
Yeah, what do you drop in elevation from the top to the bottom there?
I believe it's something like 2,700 vertical feet in 3 miles.
Yeah, it's steep.
And the first probably half a mile is just sort of not, flat.
Meandering hills.
Yep. So it's
And you've got all your gear,
a very
obviously.
sudden drop.
Yeah.
You're spending a lot of time on your ass sliding down steep, rocky, nasty gullies. And then additionally, he said that, it'd be about 7 miles of really great class 3 water, which I don't know if you're familiar with whitewater rating systems.
It's moving fast.
It was there were at least 2 rapids that were most definitely class 4. So, big waves, big rapids, and technical where, you need to make very precise moves to avoid holes and obstacles.
So
and
obviously you made it down.
and
right?
yeah. But after about 6 miles, I and running the biggest rapids I have ever kayaked. I've always been more of a boater. I row. And I ended up flipping on a slightly smaller rapid, and my prosthetic leg, I assume, caught a rock and got partly ripped off of me. And I was trying to swim through the rapid, holding onto my boat, my paddle, because those are the most important things.
Right.
And my leg. And pretty quickly, the leg went to the bottom of the Gunnison River.
It's a bizarre phrase when you're thinking there's 3 things, right? You're talking about the boat, the paddle, and your leg, and the leg is actually
The one that
the
you
least
can let
important
go.
of the
Totally.
3.
Yeah.
That's not very often you hear that. My leg is not as important as my boat or my paddle.
So
The leg isn't going to help me down the river.
That's true. Can we just explain though? Can you explain how the prosthetic leg is held on? Because it's kind of it's like it's rubber, right? And you roll it up your thigh.
So that particular system got a silicone sleeve that I roll over my stump and over my leg up to about here, about, mid-thigh. And it has a pin attached at the bottom.
Right.
And that pin locks into the bottom of the socket
Right.
to hold it on. And so that entire sleeve coming up my leg is, it's silicone. It's really sort of, a sticky, rubbery material.
So it must take some force to pull
It has
that
a
off.
lot of friction. It's pretty remarkable to have that thing pulled off.
So did you, in the chaos of what was going on, did you feel it coming off? Does it take enough
Not
force?
the initial, actually. I didn't even notice the initial because I was underwater. I was...
Right.
focusing on other things.
very
trying to stay above.
turbulent water. That.
So, okay. So, and this is the thing. This is one of the reasons why I know Rob wanted to have Chad on, is to tell this story, because Rob wanted to have a series on WKRP.
Yeah.
That was No Shit, There I Was. And so no shit, there you are.
Oh, yeah.
You're struggling to get the boat, the paddle, everything, I guess, either back to shore or to a piece of water that's a little bit more relaxed. At what point did it dawn on you, okay, I'm safe, and I've got everything I need to keep going down the river, but what happens when I get out of the river?
Well, first off, as we got through that rapid, my buddy Kevin was right next to me on his kayak, and I'm working on getting mine flipped, and he says, "Hold on, there's another."
Oh no.
And we went straight through another class 3 rapid, and my stump is very sensitive flesh. It never sees the sun. It's always covered.
Right.
And very soft. So I'm like trying to hang on to my boat and my paddle and just swing my body around and swim in such a way that I'm running into rocks with my shoulders or my hips. And we got through, got into an eddy, got to shore, and took a moment to regroup and make a plan. And I did have a moment of panic, like, this is bad.
Yeah.
Part of it is in an inflatable kayak, you use knee straps, thigh straps to brace in the boat.
Right.
So you can have control over the craft. And without being able to plant my heel, it was going to be more difficult to properly brace. Yeah. And we were looking at many, many miles to get down past Chucker Trail through the Gunnison Gorge to the truck.
Yeah.
At the very, very, very bottom, and did not think that it would be practical or safe to do that without the leg. So we made the decision to continue another mile down the river to Chucker Trail, and pretty quickly we were having fun. Like hooting and hollering. There were still some pretty good rapids, nothing quite as big as what we had gone through, thankfully, without having, the foot. And we got down to Chucker Trail, and we had already started discussing options, and I gave Kevin a rundown on what to say, because, it turns out between my military experience and other climbing experience and whatnot, I've got a pretty good idea of how to, deal with some of these situations. So I told him to, he was going to hike out, and told him to call dispatch, call
because there's no
non-emergency.
service, obviously,
No.
for those who don't know, there's no cell service down in the bottom of the Black Canyon.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, called non-emergency dispatch and explained to them that rescue was necessary, but there was not a medical emergency.
Right.
I was uninjured.
but you weren't going to be able to get out. Well, didn't you? You also recall you did try, didn't you?
Yeah.
We tried to get out.
We went probably about 1,000 or 100 yards up the trail. Right. Me arm over Kevin's shoulder, holding the paddle on this side, sort of trying to crutch out essentially and hobble out.
You knew that wasn't going to work.
At that rate, it would have taken us probably 16 hours to get through that mile.
So,
and
how did you get out? Because I know this part too.
Yeah. So, after Kevin went out to make phone calls and whatnot, including calling Mel to let her know the situation, which, again, specific instructions. First thing you say, calling Mel, is Chad is fine.
Right. Now for the bad news.
But he's spending the night.
He's camping out in the Black Canyon.
A little extended adventure.
Yeah, exactly.
So did you had to stay the night?
We spent the night. He had somebody a buddy drive out and drop off a couple sleeping bags that he carried back down. But it would have been uncomfortable, but we would have been okay.
Yeah.
Period. It wasn't all that cold. And the next morning, Sam, the law enforcement ranger with the BLM, called up Wyatt, who runs the horse packing outfit that hauls boats down Chucker Trail for the guide companies, mainly fly fishing companies. And
so we got a unique situation for Wyatt then.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, he's done it before.
Not with you, right?
No.
So excursion was by horseback?
Yeah. So I
Okay.
came back. I got
Evacuation.
hauled out on the back of a horse. It was great. Way better than getting carried on a stretcher.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, it was lots of fun. And then Sam, the ranger, gave me a ride home and encouraged me to apply to be a river ranger for the BLM next year.
Yeah. Good work, Sam.
Which,
So a job offering came out of it.
Yeah.
Well,
we'll have to
exactly.
get
Like-
Sam on here at some point. That might be fun.
we, Kevin and I did a pretty damn good job if we handled that situation well enough that a job offer came out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
Yeah.
So, okay. We discovered Colorado through Ouray via ice climbing. We've left a part of ourselves at the in the gorge. So we're part of Colorado now. And we've been here for a decade
Forever.
or more. Right?
Forever.
Yeah. What's next? What's next for Chad in the Montrose scheme of things and everything that's out there? I mean, we see you every week. You guys just did a fish fry at Pomona. You did a great Oktoberfest menu as well.
And here's the other thing. When you say you see Chad everywhere, most people see you at Pomona. I've seen Chad at other places.
No, I've seen Chad at other places.
What kind of places?
Well, Chad's come out to I remember coming out to the Jackass Olympics. Which was amazing, and that was super fun.
Yeah.
No injuries at the Jackass Olympics.
Nope.
Definitely had opportunity for it, but no injuries occurred there.
No. I've also seen Chad in I wouldn't say compromising positions because Chad doesn't care, but I've seen you in wearing other attire. Chad's
In drag?
He's adventurous is the word in a literal and a metaphorical sense. Yes, Chad is not afraid to indulge in. Well, what was the specific event that you?
When I was performing burlesque.
That'll be the one. Yes. Yeah.
Where was the burlesque show that had equal opportunity burlesquing?
I've performed burlesque a lot of places.
Okay.
He
Originally,
normally just shows up. But no, where was the last one? And what's
the
the
last
organization?
one was at the Temple,
right on downtown Montrose.
and our troupe does not have anything planned at the moment. Working on rebuilding, but we, for a long time, Intrinsic was our home stage,
which obviously was someone coffee house, someone brews in a previous incarnation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And performed in Ridgeway, Norwood.
Do you have
Glenwood Springs?
What do you perform? I mean, to music. What do we give us give me some people. I don't know what music are we thinking about when we think of you in drag?
I've done a lot of things, but I think my favorite acts have been to a little song from your neck of the woods, Sweet Transvestite from the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah. And you know what? You know what I would love?
That
FYI,
constituted a mic bump for me.
To bring to Montrose would be a live cinema experience of something like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, where everyone dresses up and sings along. But that makes perfect sense.
I think it was in 2019 up in Ridgeway at the Sherbino Theater. We did a full production of the Rocky Horror Show.
Yeah.
So not even a movie. It was a full
stage.
Yeah, full
production.
staged musical. We had live music. We had a band playing.
I know you, Frankenfurter. You played.
I was not. We actually had a woman play Frankenfurter,
there you
which was
go.
really pretty amazing to have a tall, tough, badass woman
flipping it back
playing a man in drag.
Right, exactly, yeah. I have to say, I would love nothing more that it might kill me, but to see Dennis
Be
dressed up in drag with fishnets and
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I'd have no problem dressing up as Dr.
you could
Frankfurter.
say riff-raff.
I think we should do it for a
You could be
some kind
riff-raff.
of charity event. You know,
I'll
if
do
you-
it. If
If
you-
you make a pledge, and if we reach enough money, we'll parade Dennis around downtown.
No.
Maybe
Hold
at
on.
Christmas on some kind of float.
Hold on a second.
If we can find giant man-sized fishnet stockings,
Well,
we
I'm
can
sure
do
they exist, but here's the deal. You just missed the big part.
Go on.
I'm more than happy to do that, but you have to be riffraff.
Well, I've got the backside for it.
So you say,
Non-existent otherwise.
you mean the hunch for it?
I could do riffraff too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he created it, right?
What's that? The movie. Yes.
Yeah.
the whole
Richard.
The actor that
Right,
was,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, he's amazing. He used to do a show called The Crystal Maze in the UK. He created that too. So,
All right. So
well, we have at least one more thing to talk about.
all right, we're coming to time.
All right. Well,
there's
we're
too
kind
many.
of saving the best to last
Okay, here we go.
because, Chad, tell us about, and you know where I'm going with this, so don't say anything else. You know what I'm going to say. What would you consider to be one of your biggest achievements post surgery in terms of athletic accomplishments? Or would you like me to just tell you what to say because I want you to talk about it?
I mean, there's a handful. I mean, honestly, climbing Bridal Veil Falls and Telluride as my first backcountry ice climb back in 2009 was pretty hairball, pretty incredible.
Let's go a little higher
But
in
I
elevation.
think
Little higher.
you're probably thinking about another near-death experience that I had
On a
when I
rather-
summited the
an average-sized
northeast
mountain.
ridge of Mount Everest.
Oh. Little old Mount Everest.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is named after a Welshman. Just
Oh.
FYI there.
And Sandy Irving's foot was just found.
Oh. I
Up
don't
on
know
the
whether
mountain.
we had a moment of silence there. I'm like, I don't know
Yeah.
how to respond to they found
In the
Sandy
boot
Irving's
with a
foot.
sock that's embroidered with his name.
Oh, no.
Delightful.
Yeah.
Well,
Give us-
this will come out. It might be post Halloween, but there was
Yeah.
a frightening image for you.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the Brit that died in, I think, 1922.
right. Well, there's the guy. What's the other guy?
Yeah,
in the
Mallory.
Green, the green guy. There's a guy.
Green boots.
Green boots.
The
yeah.
Japanese climber.
He's now a wayfinding point, right? You go if you see green
no,
boots,
his
you go,
body has
"God."
actually been removed
Oh,
from the
it has?
route. It had when I was up there. It had, I think 2 years before it had been removed. Not the year before I was there, because the year before I was there was the huge earthquake and nobody.
Right. Tell us.
So did you successfully summit, or did you make?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit what it felt like to get to the top of the world, essentially.
It was wild. I mean, it was a beautiful day, beautiful summit, still almost no wind, comfortable, and you feel like you're in outer space. First off, yeah, there is no oxygen, but there's all these other mountains. Like, I mean, going up Everest for the first number of days, you're looking up at Pomona, which is this really steep, imposing, beautiful mountain towering over you. And then you get up to the summit of Mount Everest, and it's like, I think that's Pomona down there.
Right.
Just these huge, imposing mountains that are just like little hills below you. And the curvature of the earth is
Oh, the Earth's flat.
phenomenal.
Chad, come on.
Yeah, I know, right?
Everyone knows that. Fake it. Now I know you're not telling the
The
truth.
curvature of the flat earth was
Yeah.
amazing from the summit of
So,
Everest.
but just to give people maybe perspective, so if you're looking up at the summit here,
summit of Mount Sneffels.
Mount Snuffles, that the top of that is what 15,000.
No.
It's
14
14,100 and I think 10-ish.
And so the summit or the peak that you're referencing, how tall was that?
Pomona, I don't recall exactly. It probably around 26,000.
So you're looking
25,
down
26, yeah.
at this peak that's 26,000 feet, and you're going, I think that's that
You're
peak.
looking down over
And then-
10,000 feet.
and then
If you were to look
10,000
at
feet further
Sneffels.
down than that, you're
As
looking
we
at
were,
Snuffles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were at 29,000. I think the new survey is 29,032 feet. Is
Right.
the summit of Mount Everest.
Wow.
Not too shabby. And you
It's a
know
little
the
ways
thing
up
is
Is
that
there, nobody does, you said there's no oxygen up there, But there used to be like a classification. You kind of had to declare you did it without assistance or you did it with assistance, right? And the assistance was oxygen.
with supplemental oxygen or without supplemental oxygen. Yeah. And I mean, I use supplemental oxygen, but it really...
Is there anybody that doesn't anymore? Really?
Yep.
Okay.
I've had a couple of buddies that have done it without
That just seems insane to me.
supplemental oxygen.
Well, all of it seems insane to me,
Yeah,
but that particularly
that's
seems
true.
insane.
That's true. I have this vision in my head now, though, because take us full circle back to the start of you standing on the top of Mount Everest, looking like that, just shouting, "You shall not pass."
Are you cognizant enough at that moment to like have those thoughts? Or are you just like,
I felt... Yeah, at the summit, I was pretty cognizant. I have, on the way up, I definitely had one of the most striking and real hallucinations of my life.
oh wow,
That was sort of crazy.
yeah,
You want to share what that hallucination was, or is it too sexy?
So, it was probably about 3:00 in the morning ish, pitch black. I'm by myself. My partner's just a little bit behind me. And as I'm hiking up the trail, I look over and up ahead, there's this big rocky outcropping, and underneath it is glowing. There's a campfire. There's laughter. There's a guitar playing. And as I'm continuing up the trail, getting closer, there's this group of folks that are just having a nice little camp out, singing music, drinking beers.
Were they singing the songs from
Having
the
fun.
Rocky Horror Picture Show?
I don't recall what they were singing, what they were playing on the
I'm
guitar.
just a sweet transvestite. Is that what they were singing?
But so as I distinctly remember, I thought oh, I should go say hi. It looks like they're having fun.
no,
And then it's like, no. I've got a job to do. I need to just keep on going. And so I walked past, and as I walked past, they were still there. And then it was probably 5 or 10 minutes later, all of a sudden I was like, oh, wow.
that was never there.
That was not real.
Are you sure it wasn't just a bunch of Sherpas, though? Because they're super badass. They might carry a guitar up there and,
But
No, they're working.
But that's how people that is how people get off of the trail, and how so many
Sometimes,
people
yeah.
are lost up there.
And
You're
ultra marathoners often share stories about having pretty crazy, trippy hallucinations about 70 miles or so into a run. I know one of my coworkers who is a ultra marathon runner has a pretty great story about hallucinating on the trail.
Mm-hmm.
I think is that a scenario that I want to say, because I know so many of you guys out there are extreme athletes. You do some pretty amazing things. You figure out ways to push your bodies
Hollis Break.
to the
I used to
absolute
say that.
limit.
Hollis
Oh,
Break
goodness.
just finished the Moab 240, and he's going to come on here and cry on the Wheelie Big Sofa sometime soon. hopefully.
Yeah.
We'll
Jason Clark did the Euro 50.
And the 100.
He's done the 100 in the past, but he just did the 50 and placed 3rd overall.
So I guess where I was going with that is the fact that your body is creating hallucinogenic images for you.
That'll work.
To try to comfort you. That usually happens. The only other place that's ever happened and is related to is when you have such a traumatic accident in your life or something so your body is trying to deal with extreme pain, which is usually related to an injury, that it creates a hallucinogen in your mind just to try to kind of keep you calm in that situation. Isn't that kind of shouldn't that be the notification to everybody that you're not really supposed to be doing this stuff?
Yeah. If
No,
you see
not
something
necessarily.
If you see something that's not there,
I don't know. I feel like
take
it
a
is.
break for a minute.
I'm impressed by everybody that does it. I am excited for them to be able to successfully succeed in doing it and be able to come back. But the other part of me is going, you're not really supposed to be doing this stuff.
Why not?
So that might be why I'm not one of those guys.
Could be.
That might be it. I'm grateful that you are one. I'm grateful that you survive all of these amazing adventures
All
that
of
you
these
go on.
escapades
Yeah,
you get yourself into.
And I'm super thankful to be able to get to see you every so often at the kitchen there in Pomona, because the one thing that I do love about you is, Chad, I don't think I've ever not seen a smile on your face, and I haven't seen you not happy to see somebody. So you're one of those rare people that we have in this community that when I get a chance to run into you, my day usually gets better. So thank you for coming on WKRP.
You know, I'm generally happy to see anybody. Rob is hit and miss, but
well,
yeah.
you know, we all got to be there for Rob. So
I'm not swearing,
he's-
but I'm mouthing some stuff. So
Right.
if you can read lips,
yeah.
read this.
Oh, and additionally, just today, I went up to Ridgeway to visit the old firehouse. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that project.
Yeah, we'll be getting Dan hopefully on some point soon. And how is it?
Excellent. So, well, they weren't open. I went and met with Sam, the grower for harvest at the firehouse.
Mm-hmm.
And I toured the greenhouse and the mushroom growing facility.
Cool.
And got some beautiful, beautiful samples. And I'm going to be playing around and running a special at Pomona
Well,
soon
we'll post
at
that,
some
'cause
point.
we're not sure when this will go out, but we'll be sure to share whatever concoction you come up with when you do it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Because
Well, that's a whole-
locally grown gourmet, awesome culinary mushrooms. Like, it's
yeah,
pretty cool asset.
yeah.
That's a whole nother conversation, because
That
what
is.
you're talking about is there's a greenhouse on top of the old firehouse that they built, which has
Oh,
the
yeah. And
restaurant.
we were just picking things off of the grow towers
Yeah.
to taste. And
We're gonna
it's
get those
all
guys. We're gonna get those guys on
phenomenal.
at some point to
Yes.
talk about that too.
Good.
All right. Chad, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it. You've been awesome.
Thanks, guys.
All right, another episode of WKRP. Don't forget, make sure that you go like the episodes as you watch them, because that helps us get more people to be able to share the stories with. If you know somebody that should be on WKRP, a future episode, make sure you go to WKRPmontrose.com. You can message us there, or you can give us a call at 970-316-3162. And if you want to go on one of these great adventures of your own, the best way to get there, Rob, what is the best way to get there?
To get to a place,
Yeah,
like
where
if
you
it's
can-
a trailhead or wherever,
Yeah.
you should probably drive a Subaru.
Yeah.
Right. I like Subarus.
All-wheel drive?
Where would you get one of those from?
I mean, definitely go to rentalcarmontrose.com.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I wanted to rent one,
Yeah.
a brand new Subaru, I
Yeah.
would go to rentalcarmontrose.com and rent a brand new Subaru.
Start
for
your
a really,
adventure today.
really reasonable rate too.
Yeah, absolutely. All
It's
right,
shameless and we don't care.
I support
WKRP,
that.
we appreciate you. We'll talk to you next time.